For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and today I'm going to be sharing and telling you what are, in my opinion, the highlights of the Home Depot Halloween 2021 lineup. Well, as you may or may not know, Home Depot recently unleashed their entire Halloween 2021 lineup after what seems like weeks and weeks of leaks coming out and things being released before they were actually meant to be. So many images, unboxings of stuff, their animatronics. Well, a couple days ago, Home Depot officially released all of the animatronics onto their website. Some of them are for pre-order, some of them are sold out, some of them are on back order. There's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of different items this year, and I know Home Depot is definitely one of the highlighted companies that people are most excited for next to Spirit Halloween, which is surprising. They're being compared to them. People are very excited to see what they had up their sleeves, and Home Depot actually had a little bit more than what was leaked. There's a couple more items that we didn't see that were leaked that actually got released, and they never got released early. So without further ado, I'm going to be talking about and sharing what are, in my opinion, the highlights of Home Depot's Halloween 2021 lineup. So let's get into it. So the first animatronic from Home Depot's 2021 lineup that is, in my opinion, a very good highlight is the 3-foot animated LED pumpkin twins. Now, I gotta say, I love these pumpkin twins. I think they're really, really unique. We don't really see a lot of pumpkin animatronics, which is surprising from Halloween companies, since pumpkins are such a classic thing. Obviously, Spirit dabbles in pumpkin stuff a couple times every year, but I think these brand new pumpkin twins that Home Depot has is definitely some of the best pumpkins that we've seen from any Halloween company. It's a set of two, so it's not just one. When you're buying this, you're getting both of them. They interact with each other. They both talk at the same time. One is a girl and one is a boy, and they're the same about height, and they're very similar in the sculpts. Honestly, I think the outfits on both of these are really, really cool looking. I think the color scheme is perfect, especially since they're pumpkins. I love their kind of dark kind of colors, but then the pants are sort of bright with the yellow and green. I love how that came out. I think they're kind of retro looking. They kind of look like medieval time outfits, which I think, again, looks really good. I think the pumpkin sculpts are really, really cool. They kind of borderline cartoony, but then at the same time realistic. Like, my favorite is the boy, because I really like how the boy's pumpkin sculpt, the mouth actually goes up above his eyes. I think that really has a cartoonish look to it, but at the same time, you can kind of see with the color scheme that it's realistic, so I really like that. I love how they're holding the trick-or-treat bags. And I think one of the highlights about them as well is that their hand sculpts are really, really cool. I love how it really looks like they have roots for hands. I love how it's that kind of dark greenish colors, and it actually is the same color that you see at the top with their stab at the top of their head. Overall, these are really cool animatronics, especially for the price. They're only $79.98, so about $80 USD. And again, you got both of them, so I think for $80, I think that's really, really good. I might try to pick these guys up for the 50% off sale for Home Depot, because I think for $40, that would be even more worth it. And honestly, I think that $80 is worth it as well. But if you could pick it up for 50% off and even get it for $40, that would make it even better. I think the phrases on these guys are also very cool, and they even have a moving mouth and LED eyes, which just makes it a little bit cooler for that $80 price tag. Overall, this is a really cool set of animatronics from Home Depot for 2021. I love the pumpkin twins. I think their outfits are really cool. I think the color scheme is great, and I really love their awesome sculpts. Now let's take a look at the next Home Depot Halloween 2021 animatronic. So this next animatronic is one that I know a lot of people were very excited for when it got leaked originally, and now some people are kind of straying away from it when we got the official demo video, and honestly, I'm sort of agreeing with them, and this is the 6-foot animated LED man-eating plant. So again, this one was leaked a little while ago when his images came out. Now he's officially up on the website. It's a man-eating plant, kind of Venus flytrap kind of looking thing. We don't really get a lot of plant monsters from Halloween companies, so this is definitely one of the first. And obviously, people were very impressed when we saw this guy for the first time, because everyone wanted a man-eating plant for a long time. Everyone wanted a plant kind of animatronic. We loved his pictures, and his pictures made him look very, very cool. And then we got his official demo video, and it was a little lackluster, which I'm going to explain. So honestly, for detail and for sculpt, this guy is alright. I don't love the body of him because I really do think it's sort of weird that he just has a straight up kind of twig body. Not a huge fan of that part of him. I think that could have been made a little bit better. But I do like the leafy arms that he has. I think the jaw that moves up and down and his head sculpt is really cool. And I love how he has leaves that actually hang down from his arm. I think the detailing on him is really good, especially with all the leaves that he has by his feet. I think that's really good. But obviously the thing that disappointed everyone when his demo video came out was that he actually has phrases. Now, I think everyone can agree that it would have been cooler to have the man-eating plant just feature growling noises or monster sounds, but instead Home Depot's actually giving him, or it might have been SBI who made this one, I think, they're kind of giving him just, like, phrases that are, like, talking. Now, I don't really like this because it takes away from the effect. He's not really scary when a plant is talking like actual words. So honestly, I would have liked it more if he just featured some growling sounds or maybe some laughing. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the phrases that he says. I think it really makes him more sound funny and cartoonish than a really menacing plant monster. But again, overall, he's pretty good for the price. He's 6 feet tall and he's retailing for $129.99, about $130 USD. Not a bad price for him, to be honest, especially since he's 6 foot and he has a moving mouth, LED eyes, and kind of thrashes back and forth. So honestly, the price is really good. The height is really cool. The moving mouth. I just wish he didn't have phrases. Would have been cooler to see some growling or laughing sounds. But you know, for the price and the height of him, I think it is pretty cool. Now let's take a look at the next Home Depot Halloween 2021 animatronic. So this next animatronic is one that I was very, very excited for when it got leaked, and now I'm sort of turned away from it just because of how big it actually is. And of course, I am talking about the 8-foot giant-sized animated LED Dark Angel. Now, if you go back and watch my Home Depot leak video that I came out with a couple weeks ago, I was such a fan of this guy, and I still am. I think this brand new Dark Angel prop from Home Depot is fantastic because the idea of it, we don't really see a lot of statue/angel animatronics from Halloween companies, and I think this is an awesome rendition of that idea. He has 2 giant wings. He's holding a very, very medieval-looking giant sword in his hands. He's kind of looking down on it, but then the coolest thing about him is that he has color-changing LED lights on his wings and on his body. This is an awesome prop. Such a cool idea. I'm gonna say I believe SVI made this, but maybe it's like Pan-Asian. It could be someone like that. Either way, this is a really cool one. I think the detail on it is fantastic. Just looking at the detail on the wings, I think it's really, really cool with all the different markings on there. And again, I think the LED changing lights look so cool, especially with the stone kind of feel he has to him. The only thing I'm thinking about it, I didn't mention this in my original leak video, but I'm not a huge fan of the medieval sword because I don't really think it matches super well with the rest of his character. The rest of him kind of just a stone creature, but I feel like the sword doesn't really match that well with him. I don't know. I guess it's alright with the skull at the top of it. I think his phrases are really cool. He has a really cool, deep, menacing voice that kind of you would think of that comes from a statue animatronic. So I really like that. It's kind of menacing. The one thing that I like, I'm probably not going to be able to get him now, is because he's actually 8 feet tall, which is insane to me. 8 feet is such a giant prop. And he has a really big size to him. So I'm probably not going to get him because I really can't fit 8 feet animatronics in my house. But it is really cool. He has a giant size to him. I'd love to get to see him in person because I'm sure he's fantastic out in a yard, in a building that can actually fit him. I'm sure that 8 feet size is really menacing up close, and I'm sure he is just really, really creepy. He's retailing for $279.99, $280 USD, which honestly is not a bad price for him. For an 8 feet tall animatronic that does what he does, $280 is not bad at all. So honestly, don't have any problem with this price. I think it's actually worth it. And overall, he's a really, really cool prop. Love to see more statues coming from Halloween companies. And again, he features so much detail, especially on his wings and on his body. I love the kind of blank face that he has just because he's a statue and those LED changing, the LED changing colors. Overall, this Dark Angel is a really, really cool prop. And I really hope I get to see this one in person. Now let's take a look at this next Home Depot Halloween 2021 animatronic. So this next 2021 animatronic is not an animatronic, it's actually a prop because it is static, but it is the brand new 12-foot giant-sized Inferno pumpkin skeleton with LCD eyes. So if you remember, Home Depot released the 12-foot skeleton last year with the LCD eyes. Well, this year it has been reskinned and redesigned to create the pumpkin skeleton, or the Inferno pumpkin skeleton. Now, this guy obviously is very, very cool. Because of the size to him, and obviously the 12-foot skeleton sold very well, which leads to the release of this guy, and honestly, he's pretty nice. He features a very, very cool pumpkin sculpt at the top of his head. He has a pumpkin body with his arms kind of out, which I want to mention, his arms are posable, so they don't have to be exactly how you see in his stock photos, but his hands are kind of out with his fingers, and he stands a menacing 12 feet tall. Now, obviously, any prop that is around 12 feet or anything really taller than 8 feet or 7 feet for me, is really, really cool always, because the props that have a giant size to them are always just so cool to see in person, and they're always really cool for a haunt or even your own collection. So it's really cool to see a 12-foot pumpkin skeleton coming from Home Depot. He doesn't do anything. All he does is that he has LCD eyes, which digital eyes that kind of dart back and forth. He also has some LEDs in there that glow on his chest and on his mouth. He has a really cool sculpt to him. I think his body looks really good. I think his legs and his arms are really well sculpted and really look professional. Again, with the head too. I don't feel like, and I mentioned this in my original leak video when he got leaked, I just don't feel like the pumpkin sculpt matches well with his body. I feel like I don't know, something about it that it's orange, but his body is not orange. I don't know, something about it just doesn't really match for me. Also, I don't really think he matches well with the original skeleton, because he's not a skeleton. I don't really think he matches. If you have the original, I don't think he really matches that well, or he would decorate well with the other one, but that's just my opinion. He retails for $349.99, 350 USD, which honestly, that's a pretty penny, but he's 12 feet tall, he has LEDs, and he has digital eyes, so honestly, I actually think he's worth it. But at the same time, the original retail for $300, and now this one is $50 more, so honestly, I don't know, it is honestly one of the most expensive that Home Depot is releasing for this season, if not the most expensive. But overall, he's giant, he has LCD eyes, LEDs, and a giant posable arm structure to him. So overall, it's a cool prop, but I just don't think it really matches well with the original. Maybe on its own pumpkin patch kind of theme, maybe it would work well, but honestly, not one of my favorites from the season. But I still think it's a highlight just because of the size to him and the sculpt to him, but I wouldn't display him next to the original. And maybe he would be all right within his own his own display within his own kind of pumpkin patch theme. But again, I just don't think he really matches well with the original because he doesn't really carry that same aesthetic. But maybe if you had a pumpkin patch, this guy would fit well in it. Let's take a look at the next Home Depot Halloween 2021 animatronic. So this next 2021 Home Depot animatronic, probably my favorite from the entire lot. I know it's a lot of people's favorite, and I have to agree with them. It is the 5.5-foot animated three-faced Jester. So I know this guy got leaked a little while ago, and I never did a video on it because I wanted to wait till he was officially released to give my thoughts on him. And this guy is really, really cool. We obviously, everyone complains every year, and it's the truth. We get so many clown props every year from Halloween companies. I think Spirit is probably the culprit for the most of them. But obviously, a lot of Halloween companies do this and just release a ton of clowns. But obviously, this guy is sort of a clown, but at the same time, he's a brand new original idea. He is the three-faced Jester. He is in a very cool looking pose that kind of, his legs are kind of like wrapped around each other, which is really interesting. He has two masks on his legs, and then he has one mask in his hand that switches back and forth, and he covers his face and then he brings it out again. One hand in the air, he has a moving mouth, LED eyes, and his waist goes back and forth. This guy is so cool. He has a red and black color scheme that really has a Jester outfit. He has a Jester hat on and a very cool face sculpt. I love this Jester prop because I think the phrases and voice on this guy are absolutely fantastic. I think it really, really well matches with that Jester kind of idea and the way he talks and his phrases, and I think they're really cool. The only thing I don't like and the kind of grip that I have for it with this guy is that his waist movement is a little robotic looking because it kind of like goes back and forth, and since his legs don't move, it sort of is a little robotic, but at the same time, I'm going to let it slide just because of how cool the rest of this guy is. I love the face sculpt. I love how he has really creepy lips and how his eyes are kind of skeleton-like. I love that his hands are really, really well detailed. They have so much really cool detail in them, and I absolutely love how that came out. The Jester outfit also looks really good for a Jester outfit. And again, I love the color scheme with them, the red and black. I think it looks really cool. Obviously, he would have been a little bit cooler if he was like 7.5 feet tall, or even just 7 feet tall, I think. But he's only like 6 feet, so he's like an average prop size. It would be cool to get a towering version of this guy because I know he would be really scary if he was that big. But still, 6 feet is just like an average prop size that anyone could really fit in their house. So I think this guy came out really cool. One thing I just wanted to mention is you can actually change out the masks that are on his legs to the ones that are in his hands, which I think is really cool. That's something interesting. You can kind of change out the look that you want to give with him. But overall, I think the blue/white LEDs that he has, again, really look cool with him. I think they would really look good in the dark, and I just love the position his legs are in. I love how his one hand is in the air, and I love how he switches the one mask into it to cover his face and then takes it out again. Overall, this brand new three-faced Jester animatronic is absolutely fantastic, and is definitely my favorite from the Home Depot 2021 lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, that was going to wrap up my video, taking a look at and reacting to the highlights, in my opinion, of the Home Depot Halloween 2021 lineup. So let's cut to the outro. So that's going to wrap up my video, taking a look at and reacting to what are, in my opinion, the highlights of the Home Depot Halloween 2021 lineup. I think Home Depot did a really good job this year on creating an awesome lineup. In my opinion, it's better than the 2020 lineup, and I think Home Depot really has a bright future ahead in Halloween decorations, and I honestly think they could become a real deal competitor for the big companies such as Spirit Halloween. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us for future years, and I know there's been some theories of if Home Depot will have an actual sort of display in stores for this year, similar to what Spirit does. That would be awesome to see, to get to showcase all the animatronics, and I really hope my Home Depot gets in all these new props for 2021, because I really like to see them in person, and I might end up picking a few of them for 50% off. Ladies and gentlemen, remember as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I see you guys later for more Home Depot Halloween 2021 videos. Goodbye.